can heal our land. I believe we can reach out and help, empowering our children and women, and to build a strong family, to build your integrity, giving hope, giving light, bringing peace to our world, and this is the real movement.
Today we'll be talking about being organized. Being organized, the organized woman. We can't really attain greatness, if we're not organized. It's so important to plan, because in the day and age that we are in, we have so much to do at any given time, and it could actually be very overwhelming if we don't learn, proper organization, proper planning. We just find out that at the end of the day, we don't get much done like we really want to. The Bible says in the book of Luke 14:28, which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it? Lest after he has laid the foundation, he's not able to finish, and all who see it begin to mock him, saying, this person began to build and could not finish. It's so important for us to plan, to take stock of what you're about to do, to sit down, count the cost. If it's a project that involves finances, sit down. How much is it going to cost? How are you going to get the money? What, is your income like? Many of us don't keep records of our expenditures. We don't keep records of income, of what comes in. It's so important to do these things, because then we'll be able to track it. Our lives will be on track. We would be on top of, all that is going on, and we'll be able to plan for success. I had the opportunity, of reading an article in a magazine about Mother Teresa's life. I found out that this woman was highly, highly organized. She built a very impactful and effective system, organization that has continued, even after her death. From that article, from that magazine, I found out that this woman was highly organized. Before then, I didn't know what I thought, but probably I just thought, okay, she was just about doing good, helping the poor, helping the sick. But I saw that, they revealed some details about her life, and it was I could see that she was a very organized and detailed person. That's why she could do all that she could do, and all that she did effectively. And the organization still continues today. When we talk of being organized, we're talking about planning ahead. We're talking about a woman that, organizes herself. You have your to-do list, you plan, you attach timelines to the various things that you want to do. Because when we don't do that, we find out that at the end of the day, we've not achieved much. Don't be like the people that will have their to-do list and never look at it. The day they stumble on it, it's like, oh my, I've hardly done anything at all. So you find out that a lot has been undone. A lot of interruptions come into our day through phone calls, emails, and all of that. But when we are organized and when we plan upfront, we're able to minimize those interruptions, or we are able to handle the interruptions better. Learn to keep records. Learn to keep records. Delegate wisely. As women, and even, of course, as men too, because I know that we have an audience that is not just women. I've gotten feedback that a few men watch us as well. It's so important to, delegate. Delegate, not abdicate. You don't abandon your assignment in someone's hands, but you expect feedback. You delegate wisely. Delegate to someone that will be able to give you effective feedback so that you can take better decisions. Train those who will work closest to you. Train those who work closely to you to understand the importance of organization, the importance of time, planning our ways. The time doesn't wait for anyone, we know. Time, it keeps on ticking. And so we have to maximize our time. Even the Bible says the Lord should teach us to number our days and for us to apply our hearts to wisdom. So it's so important. It's such a joy for me every day or almost every day to be able to tick off my list, my to-do list, to be able to say, I've done this, and I've done that. It's so important also to pray. Yes, it's important to pray. When you have a lot to do, don't think that is the time to cut back on prayer. It's also a time to meditate. It's a time to think. In the Bible, in Mark chapter 1, verse 5, it says, a great while before day, Jesus departed to a very quiet place, to a solitary place, and he prayed. And afterwards, when it was daybreak, his disciples came looking for him. And they said, all men are looking for you. People are looking for you. So that's an example for us. Plan your day, pray about it, set yourself, bring God on the scene, ask for his help, ask for wisdom. Take time to meditate, to envision. You can do this the night before. Think about what the next day will be like. Picture yourself. You have an event, you have a program. This is very important for us women. Many women, not all, are fond of being late for events. Why? Because we're dressing up. We have so many details. We have to do our makeup. The shoes have to match the handbag, or it has to not be so matchy. We just have to think. When we don't plan ahead, we find out that we are overwhelmed. If at the last minute you want to bring out what you're going to wear, then you find out that that outfit has become too tight. And then you wonder. Some people wonder, like a lady said, she wondered why her clothes were shrinking. She didn't realize that she had put on weight over the vacation. Over time, she had put on weight. She thought that she washed the clothes and it shrunk. So if you imagine, and if you say that an hour to the event, I'm going to pick a particular outfit and wear it, you'll be surprised that it might not fit you anymore. Okay? But proper planning means maybe the night before, maybe a week before, you organize the clothes you're going to wear for certain events. Match them up. Try them on to make sure that they still fit. And if they don't, you can have immediately have a backup plan. Welcome to, this time where we answer questions. It's a time of mentoring. It's an interesting time because we take time to answer questions. We take time to look into issues, that affect women, that affect us, family, career, and what have you. And today we're talking about the organized woman. We're talking about being organized, in just putting it together, planning, so that we can be more effective and we can, achieve the greatness and success that God desires for us. And today I have with me a dear lady. Of course, this is not her first time. She's been on the show before, Neoma Efanga. So Neoma, it's nice to have you. We'll go for the first question. This question says, I read recently about the different temperaments. I would like to know if some people's temperaments cause them to be disorganized. And if yes, how does one handle it? As, this is causing problems in some homes. Okay, let me start out. I know a bit about the temperaments, and you have the melancholy, you have phlegmatic, you have the choleric, and you have the sanguine. And of course, more recent studies talk about they break down the temperaments also and use other terminologies. People have researched, psychologists have researched anyway. And but I'll talk about the sanguine temperament is the one that tends to be a bit disorganized, because every temperament has, its strengths and its weaknesses. The melancholy is introverted, most times quiet, but the strength is that they're creative, they are thinkers, they think a lot, they are planners, they plan a lot. So a woman who is a melancholy and maybe also a choleric temperament, the cholerics are the doers. go, go, go. They're just doing all the time. And most of us are a combination of one or two, sometimes three. You have the dominant one and you have the one that is, not so dominant. So for a woman, who is, or for someone out there who is of the melancholy temperament, we're talking about being organized. The person will probably think, that's cheap. That's what I do naturally. Of course, that's what I have to think of what I'm going to say before I get there. I'm going to have all my notes laid out. But the sanguine will tell you, I don't have to have everything. I don't have to have all the T's dotted. When I get there, I'll know what to say. They're more spontaneous. And in terms of speaking, they can just speak without giving much thought. And many times what they say makes sense. But sometimes, too, it can go off point. The sanguine is the one that tends to be disorganized. But if you have the sanguine temperament, if you notice your child is of the sanguine, you can begin to groom that child to be more organized. You might have another child that is naturally organized. She comes back from school, she puts her shoes together, she puts her socks in the right place. And you will marvel because it's in her. She has that tendency. Or you correct him and say, no, don't put your shoes there. And that's the last time you have to correct that child. But there's this one that you run after all the time. That child might have a sanguine temperament. So you don't wait till the child is old, grown, and he's finding it difficult to plan. You start from an early age and you keep at it, So I think the sanguine might struggle with that, being more organized, more organized. But I think that being organized is something we can learn. For most of us, it doesn't just come naturally. It doesn't just fall on you. We have to learn it. It's an art. We have to plan, we have to work at it, and then it becomes, something that becomes, part of us.
I want to just add that even as somebody who is already old and set in your ways, if you're determined to, solve that particular problem, if it has become an issue, because the question said that as in, how do you now handle it because it's causing problems, then the person has to be ready for change.
That's right.
Because if you're not ready, if you haven't even identified it as a problem, then there's no how you can get help.
True.
So when you identify it as a problem and then you're ready for change, then the process can begin.
That's right. And that brings to mind, that's true. Causing problems in homes, like maybe someone, I won't say the man now, so it won't look like I'm just always someone is always speaking. Yeah, someone comes back and the shoes are thrown all over the place, and the other person is neat.
Sometimes it can even be the opposite, where the woman is the one that is all over the place, and the man is very
quite neat. And it's like, can't you put things in the right place? And the woman says, look, I can't. This. I'm doing my best. Or whatever. You have to. Work at it, right? That's what you're saying. You have to work at it. Yeah. Don't just tell your spouse that, look, this is how I am. I'm disorganized and you just have to take me like that. You have to put some effort into it. All right. This one says, I'm in my 50s and suffering from midlife crisis right now. This is because I did not create time for my home front when I should have done so. And as such, there is no bond between my kids and I. I try to be there for them, but my troubled childhood keeps putting up a wall between us. What do I do?
Well, in this situation, it's almost looking like it's bleak, like there's really nothing, but there's no solution that can't change once the person is ready or is willing to do something about that situation. And it's also important that you deal with what even triggered it off in the first place. Because she said due to childhood experiences that may have made her to cut off from her children or bonding with them, whatever it is, you can't keep shoving it out of the way or think, because it's obviously affecting your life. And everything around you is also suffering. So until you deal with the root cause of the problem, then can healing begin to occur. And when even the kids, by the time they start seeing the change that has begun with you, then they know that, it's actually possible. You may have made mistakes, done things brashly without thinking about it, but there's still room for healing. And when they see the evident change in your life, then it's possible.
Great, thank you for that. This other question says, I was newly ordained in my church as a zonal coordinator, and it's quite demanding. At the same time, I was given a raise in my company, which entails working extra hours. How do I strike a healthy balance? So giving a raise in your company, that means more money. So this person is busier. How do you strike a balance? I think, again, you have to take your planning and organization to the next level. Now you have to plan for, everything that you do. You have to write out what you want to do. You've got to think ahead, probably the night before, make your list of what you have to do. Make a daily list, make a weekly list, so that you're really on top of your game, so that no area suffers really. Where you're paid, you've been given a raise, you've got to deliver. And also in the church work as well, as a zonal coordinator. But I would like to say, whatever you can delegate, delegate. As your zonal coordinator, as this more responsibilities have been given to you in church, have you trained anyone? Have you groomed anyone? Is there anyone you're mentoring? Do you have an assistant zonal coordinator? Do you have a deputy? Do you have people in that team working with you? So it's time to also shed some of what you are doing. Let them understand that I'm busy at work now. I have to deliver. It's more responsibilities for me. So I'd like you to take on this, some more of this. I may not be able to spend 30 minutes with you anymore in our meetings. I may be able to spend 15. Let them understand what is going on, the changes going on in your life. And I think they will also be happy to step up.
Yeah, sometimes it's very easy for you to think that you are El Shaddai, and then you
know
take
it
up
all,
much
do it
more
all.
and really God's blessings are not supposed to. Bible says that the blessings of the Lord make it rich, and added no sorrow. So it shouldn't be more of a burden to you.
That's
because
right.
God knows that what you can handle and what you can't.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Guidance and God's wisdom, and like you said, you don't have to do everything.
That's right.
Delegate
That's
those
right.
that you need to.
Yeah, and I mean that job, having more responsibilities at work out there, is also, you need to see it as something spiritual as well. You need to see it also as something godly, because we tend to feel, oh, that assignment in church, that responsibility, that's the godly thing. I'm doing that for God. This one at work, I just have to do it because they've given me a raise. But being effective at work, delivering great results at work is an opportunity to be an effective witness for Christ to your boss, to your colleagues. It's an opportunity for them to see that you're organized, and at the end of the day, they want to be like you, So that's a good one. This question says, my health is taking its toll on me, such that I can't function to the best of my ability. As the administrator of a school, and it's still too early for me to retire, as I'm only 52. How do I go about this? Because I can't afford to be idle. Wow, this person wants to continue to work as an administrator, but health-wise, she's having issues.
Well, you need to be able to come to terms with yourself, which is priority, which one is more important. Would you do your work at the expense of your health, or because you feel that you're too young? What if you didn't even have the culture of always checking up with your doctor, and then suddenly you slump at the gym? Either way, you're not even going to be effective, and then somebody else is going to take your place. So what is more important? You need to take care of yourself.
That's so important.
And if you have to take off some time from work to take care of your health, so that you become better, that doesn't make you not capable of doing your work. It's just that maybe the pressure is beginning to tell on you, so you need to deal with that. Because most of the time we want to excuse away, I have what it takes, until you completely break down. God forbid that you end up 6 feet under.
That's it. I mean, someone said if you don't take time to rest, you'll soon be late to rest. And that will not be your portion. So it's important for us to be wise. Organize your life. This is what this person needs to do. Organize your life. You're 52 now. If you want to live to 80. Then plan your life now. As the administrator, can you delegate some things? Can you come in 3 times a week? instead of 5. Maybe you even work 6 times. Who knows? Maybe you come in during the weekends, half day, to put things in place. But can you work twice a week or 3 times? Can they allow you work from home and still deliver and send a lot of stuff to your teachers, to the deputy administrators online, by email? And can you upload stuff for them that they download and they're working with? Do you need to be physically in the school 5 times a week? Because if you slump, like Neoma said, you'll be replaced, and quickly. So, and this is for all of us to really just pay attention. You might not be a school administrator, whatever it is you're doing right now that seems to be overwhelming. Stop and think. Which one is priority? Your health, or the money, or what people will say if you're not working, But I think the way to go about it is stepping down the work. We're not saying just stay at home idle, but you can cut back the hours, of work. This one says, I'm a divorcee right now. I'm not working or into any form of business because the trauma of the marriage cost me my job, and I had to fend for my kids alone. How do I pick up the pieces of my life and again still be fulfilled?
It's important that you get help, because already this person is emotionally unstable, and then you need a support base to help you to pick up the pieces of your life and get yourself back on track. So a counselor, somebody that you can confide in, that can walk you through the process, of getting back yourself together, is very key at this point, because you still have people who are depending on you, your children. Even though you had a divorce case, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. It's not the end of your life. You can say, and because you said you want to be fulfilled, that means you still have hope that things can be better, and they can only be better if you begin to seek help in the right direction.
That's
Talk
right.
to somebody and let them help you.
Yeah, I agree with that. See a counselor. There are trained counselors out there, people who just have the skills to help people going through traumatic experiences, going through stress, going through major changes. To be divorced, yes, that is a major one, but you can get your life back. And I tell you, God is there. He wants to give you the life back. He said, I've come to not to steal, kill, and to destroy, which is the devil's plan, but I've come to give you life, and life abundantly. You can be happy again. You can be joyful again. Okay? Just change the source of your joy. Focus on the Lord. Look at your kids and imagine their future. Imagine how happy you'll be on their graduation day, on their great days, their moments, and see yourself there. Because if you don't, if you continue like this, you'll be absent from those joyful moments. And let that keep you going. Let passion return to your life. Find what you love doing and do it. I'm sure these are some of the things the counselor will work you through. So sign up to see a counselor today. This question says, I live and school abroad, and I had to take 2 jobs because my mother put so much pressure on me to cater for my younger ones. Now my academics is suffering a great deal. How do I succeed on both ends? Neoma, what do you have to say? I suspect that this person is a single person. Yeah.
It's important that you place priority. That's part of organizing. Know what is important. Family is very important, but then again, you're talking about your academics, which at your prime now is very key. Because if you want to get a good job, if you want to, make it seemingly in life, you have to have something to back it up, maybe a degree or that. So at this point in your life, your academics are it's very important that you succeed, that you do well, because it's even money that you're spending to see yourself through school, for example. So you need to take out time to discover yourself and know what is important, and then have a talk maybe with your parents, knowing that you're not El Shaddai. You can only provide per time what is available. And if he's juggling 2 jobs, and then you have to see yourself through school, and then you have to provide for the family, these are things that you have to put into perspective, so that if they understand that per time, this is what I can do. You even need that degree to get a better job, for example. You know, so if it means that you have to step down to 1 for now, so that you can, you know, successfully finish with your academics and get a better job to provide for your family, then so be it. But you really need wisdom to handle
wisdom.
it, because you're not El Shaddai again. You're not.
I mean,
if anything happens to you, they will move on.
They will move on.
They will move on.
I mean, Newman, you've said it all. I mean, you need to let your mother know. Tough love. Send her an email because you're abroad, you're far away from her. Or call her on the phone or whatever. Have a frank talk with her. In love, of course. But you need to let her know that if you don't even have time to rest at all, no time for yourself, I mean, 2 jobs and school. If your academics are now kind of failing, but apart from that, your health might begin to fail. So you need to let mama know that if you're not careful, God forbid, if I'm laid to rest, there's not going to be any help in terms of, you know, you want money to help my younger ones. There's not going to be any future in view, because the mom, you need to let her know that this is something you can hang on to, that I'll be finished in no time with my academics, and then I'll get a good job. I'll be able to be a better provider. You see, 1 job would get me a lot, you know, that kind of, you need to sell that vision to her. You need to sell the vision of your being alive and well so that she can reap the fruits in future. It's kind of like the pressure is right now just too much, okay?